Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Sisay Weatherlight Captain Legacy Weapon Death Star today. So looking at this opening hand, I've gone ahead and kept it already. We've got 3 lands plus a Soul Ring. Colors are a little awkward. I'd love to have the blue and red for Joyra. We might have to do some things to try to get that going. Hopefully we'll catch another land off the top that might get us to that a little bit quicker. But with the Soul Ring and early Sisay, we can probably start doing some stuff anyway. So, as I mentioned, this deck is a Legacy Weapon deck. Our goal is going to be to use Sisay to get Legacy Weapon out of the deck, make tons of mana, and just start exiling everything under the sun. Basically just one-shot Death Starring anything that matters of our opponents, so that's the goal for today. Win conditions are a little bit thin in this deck. We've got some Planeswalkers. It's really going to be a case of, like, slow the game down and hope for Planeswalker Ultimates or something like that. There is a Blackblade Reforged in the deck because it's just good with Sisay, so you know that might get us there too, but this deck is going to be unbelievably slow. Okay, Steel Shaper's Gift is actually a good card. Let's go. Our white comes in tapped, which is a little awkward. I guess that'll keep us from being too quick, so just go for the Mistveil Plains first. Next turn, probably Swamp, Soul Ring, and Sisay, or something like that, and then the following turn, Steel Shaper's Gift, probably on Sword of the Animist, honestly. Land tax for the K&T opponent. Yeah. Solemn Simulacrum for our opponent. Yeah, the Elsha's got a lot of stuff going already. They've got, it's turn 2, and they've got a Mana Crypt plus a Solemn Simulacrum. That's a pretty quick start. We do have the Urza's Ruinous Blast, which we may need to fire off at some point. There's a Stony Brook Angler for our opponent, and with that, that'll bring it back to our turn. We draw a Fumigate. Might need that at some point. I do like having access to Fumigate because then we don't necessarily need our commander in. Urza's Ruinous Blast is kind of a big one you want to save for late. Fumigate, I'm much more comfortable firing off early, so in either case, we're going to play the Swamp, play the Soul Ring, probably should have played the Bayou, honestly. Get our commander in. We also got a choice of like Blackblade Reforged, which is also good, but this deck is super mana hungry, even more so than my other Sisay builds. There is no amount of mana that this deck can't spend, so that puts me on probably Sword of the Animist. Especially I really want to get these early colors going for Joyra so we can get a little extra card draw. Astrolabe coming down for our opponent. Yep. Is it an Enlightened Tutor? K&T will probably get us a little help with card draw and ramp as well. Factor Fiction for our opponent. Who's it on? It's not on us. There's the piles. Separate lands from the other two? That's what I would do. Actually, no. Separate Divining Top from the others. It's not the best. It's not the best pile I've ever seen. But oh, they let the Divining Top go. All right. Gets the Temple of the False God. Even more ramp. At least for next turn. They're a land short, but I assume that they have it. Here's a Rhystic Study for Chaotix. Yeah. There's a Wooded Foothills. That's actually super helpful. Because now next turn we can cast Joyra then. Play the Wooded Foothills, crack the Wooded Foothills. Let's get the Volcanic Island. Let's go Steel Shaper's Gift. Rhystic Study will trigger. Not going to pay the 1. Get Sword of the Animist. Rhystic Study will trigger again. Chaotix going to have all the card draw. Equip the Sword of the Animist. I'm going to do something a little bit against the grain right here. Normally you wouldn't attack into a Solemn Simulacrum early in a game, but I actually just want to get rid of it as a blocker. And also, opponent's like pretty far ahead, so I just kind of want to send the message that I'm going that way and not somewhere else. So I think our other opponents will appreciate that. And again, it removes the blocker for later turns. Yeah, so they're going to block right here, so that means that they won't have a blocker for like next turn. If we just threw a Blackblade Reforged on there, like, you know what I mean, then they're forced to probably try and block with their commander. But they will get the card draw right here, so I know that plays a little bit against the grain and not something you typically do, but I think the value of removing a blocker right there, because that deck probably isn't going to have very many creatures in it, feels okay at the cost of giving them a card draw. Because the worst thing is if it just sits there all game and they take no damage because everyone's afraid of giving them a single card. I mean, Elsha's going to look at so many cards anyway that, I don't know, does a single card draw matter that much? Here comes an Exploration for the K&T. Yeah, that was a card I wanted to get into this deck. Just didn't quite have the room, but we do have Azusa and Oracle of Moldiah, and those can do a really good impression of Exploration. And Azusa is tutorable with Sisay and 1 or 2 other cards in the deck. Here comes a Rhymewind Task Mage. You may tap or untap target permanent. Activate this ability only if you control 4 or more snow permanents. Very nice. So playing a snow deck over there. Love it. So taking a look at what our opponents are playing. First up, Champion of Thune, piloting K&T. Looks like they're on some sort of snow theme. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be up to other than that, but, you know, K&T, it's usually like a little bit group huggish, but they come out the other side better because they have tons of mana, tons of card draw, and all that good stuff. Lots of wacky things you can do with the K&T deck, so that's always fun. Moving on from that, we have Mockfire playing Elsha the Infinite. The game plan is in the name, try to go infinite, usually. It is possible to build it as a more value-based deck that's just kind of a prowess thingy, but, you know, I think a lot of people have been interested in trying to go for its full power potential. It's not one that I've seen have tons and tons of success yet, but I also haven't run into it that many times, so, you know, I'm sure there's someone in my local that plays it. I just haven't played that person very much, so I assume by this point they've probably got it tuned up pretty well, and maybe I'll change my tune next time I run into it, but there's another Rhystic Study. That is a lot of taxing and card draw. Opponent's going to opt, trigger Chaotix's Rhystic Study. Oh, we might be on Urza's Ruinous Blast right here. We'll have to give up on our Soul Ring if we do it, but can the game continue with 2 Rhystic Studies and a bunch of mana ramp? Probably not. The best thing for us would be if Chaotix taps out. Him leaving up a bunch of blue mana would be pretty bad. Enters the battlefield. Target creature does not untap during its next controller's untap step. That's super annoying. Was hoping to get that land, but... oh, we don't have a second... Oh, it's only 1 white. Whew! Whew! Almost got punished right there. I mean, that's actually, like, very strong for a land. Ooh. Some sort of tempo deck? Eek. You played a land and you got an ice effect out of it. That's ridiculous. Why can't the white lands ever be very good? Sajiri Step is probably the best one of all those type of lands, but... Discussing with Chaotix whether he's going to let an Urza's Ruinous Blast go through. He said sure, okay. So 2 Rhystic Studies will trigger. Pay for one, pay for the other. So lets it go through, and that sets the Elsha opponent back quite a bit, which I am very happy about. Slows this game down. This game was starting to get out of hand a little bit quickly. Opponents really had a lot of fast enabler type cards on the battlefield. Exploration, double Rhystic Study, a lot of mana rocks from the Elsha. That's, you know, slow this game down a bit. And with that, K&T is going to come into play. I think I'm going to go for the card draw. Oh, the mana's good. We have things that do allow us to play extra lands, but I think we want the card draw right here. So there's a swamp, so that gives us 2 land plays, and maybe we'll use the K&T ability again to get a land next time. We'll see, but I really kind of wanted to just look at more cards for the time being. Here comes a young Pyromancer for the Elsha. Seems good in that deck. Good in a lot of different types of decks, but particularly good with Elsha. Scroll Rack is also very good. Kind of wish a few of those things got hit by the Urza's Ruinous Blast, but I really don't think we could have waited on it. The Rhystic Studies gonna be ridiculous. Exploration with land tax, you know, 1 trigger, then it just cough the lands into play. Opponent's gonna activate the Scroll Rack. Yep. Opponent's gonna play a Murmurs from Beyond. Did I finish opponents, by the way? I don't think I did. Our final opponent, by the way, is Chaotix playing Sir Elenora, the Discerning. Its power is equal to the number of cards in your hand, so probably going to be a lot of card draw. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Spells your opponent's cast that target Sir Elenora cost 2 more to cast. So, mono blue card draw, probably. Oh, that's a Frost Titan. Oh, that's totally going to target our Sisay. No, it's going to target the Scroll Rack. All right. I'm down for that. Fine choice. That's a Nicole Bolas God Pharaoh. We're still a little ways away from that now, since the Soul Ring is gone. One of the other things I had in the deck, just as like some sort of way to try and win the game, is a lot of the Bolas Planeswalkers. They seem good enough, right? So, anyway, let's play this Mountain. Oh, we're missing a blue. We can't actually activate Sisay yet. Ah, that sucks. Red, black, green, blue, white? Oh, yeah, we can't activate Sisay. Whew. Continue attacking the Elsha opponent. They seem like an easy target. Also, Frost Titan and K&T in play. Use the Sword of the Animist ability. We need a couple things right here. We actually wouldn't mind a blue, but I want to have white, double white for the Fumigate, so we'll go for the white right there. And what I'm thinking right now is, as long as we don't need to get anything particular, end step Kethis into play, and then get Joyra. Yeah, it may actually even go for like a Bolas next turn, because I think that would get us, that would get us all the colors of mana. Opponent plays a Nature's Lore, gets a land. K&T end step trigger, I'm going to go for the land this time. Oh, we won't be able to get Kethis, actually. Kethis is too expensive. We're going to have to go for something with 2 CMCs, so probably Blackblade Reforged. Okay, yeah, so I think the new plan is going to be Blackblade Reforged, equip Blackblade Reforged, and then get Legacy Weapon on our next turn. As long as we don't have to, like, react to something else with Sisay. Here comes Elsha into play. Yep. Yeah, we actually don't have that many choices right now because of the current power, so Blackblade Reforged is really about it. Sir Elenora coming into play. Yeah, it's a lot of power. And look at the draw card. Frost Titan into the K&T opponent. Let's see where they send the Frost Titan. Gonna keep the scroll rack locked down. Seems like a good idea. We actually don't have, like, super safe attacks anymore. Actually, with the Blackblade Reforged, we will. Opponent just gonna block with the K&T. Yeah. So, end step, activate Sisay. Our choices are a couple legendary lands or Blackblade Reforged. I think we'll go for the Blackblade Reforged. I've been trying to get the Spellbook promo version of Blackblade Reforged, and no one will trade them to me. They're not terribly expensive, but every person I run to is like, oh, I'm hanging on to that. I'm like, killing me. Trying to get some of the pretty ones, and it's just not panning out for me. Chaotix discards a couple cards. Discards a Frostlinks and a Murmurs. He already discarded the Murmurs. Okay. There's a Padim, Console of Allocation. That could be nice to keep our stuff safe. Equip Legendary 3, huh? I guess it's gonna go like this. We've got an 11/11 Sisay. Oh, you want what we could do? Oh, we don't have Hammer of Nazan in play yet. Okay, no, that won't work. So I guess we just attack into the Elsha opponent. So if we had Hammer of Nazan already, we could flash in Godo and get sort of Feast and Famine, and then equip it, and then get an untap on our lands, which would be very strong. Sword of the Animus will trigger. I think we're going to need a second blue here. Get the Island. Running out of basics, only 3 more basics left in the deck, which means cards like Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, gonna lose a bit of value, and that's just a problem of playing a 5-color deck. You can only get so many basics in there, especially when you have access to the dual lands and fetches and stuff. Opponent's gonna path on our creature. Okay. Well, I guess the secret's coming out of the bag. Activate Sisay. So we have a lot of choices. Could go straight for Legacy Weapon. I don't feel super well set up to, like, handle all of the crackback on that. We get a Bolus Planeswalker. If we get a Bolus Planeswalker, that'll buy us a lot of time. Do we get the big one? Gain control of target creature? Seems good, right? Yeah, let's get the big Bolus. If we don't get... Yeah. Again, because the opponents will be attacking Bolus, so that's like a lot of life gain. What else is there? But I guess then they just kill the Planeswalkers, so like maybe that's not the best either. Oh, you know what we could do? We could get the other Sisay, and then... Nah, let's just do it. We don't have that much mana, though. Do not have the mana for all the stuff I want to do. Yeah, maybe just Kethis then, because we'll have to cast some stuff from hand. Let's get Kethis, because that'll keep us from being the target. We don't really want to be the target yet. Because, like, even if we get Legacy Weapon, I think we only... 1 activation, maybe a second activation. I don't think there's really more than that, so... use the Path of Exile ability. Get a Forest. And that sets us up better for next turn. We can go, like, Joyra into Padim. Probably don't have enough left over for Bolus, but we can always try. Oh, that's a Vandal Blast! Oh, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. There is a Shroom in the deck. Let's see if this is this getting countered. Joking with opponents said Vandal Blast needs to get banned because I'm always playing artifacts. We'll get rid of the scroll rack though, which means that Frost Titan might turn its attention to other things, which would not be ideal. Well, it's a good thing we didn't play the Legacy Weapon because it would have just gotten blown up, so that panned out. One thing we gotta be careful of is that, like, Ugin's in our hand, and if we want to exile everything with Ugin, then... don't really want to throw Joyra and Padim under the bus for that. No lands put into the battlefield, so we'll draw a card. We draw, Enlightened Tutor. Let's stop on our upkeep. What can we get in this deck with Enlightened? Oh, we can get a Mana Doubler. Mana Doublers are pretty good from what I hear. We can also get our Legacy Weapon. Ooh, tough calls there. Gutter Snipe for opponent. We might be on Fumigate. Don't love that. Yeah, there's a Feast and Famine. Now we're on Fumigate. Gonna equip the Feast and Famine. Yep, this is most certainly coming our way. Start planning now what we're gonna discard. Padim, maybe? No, Padim's so much protection. This Bolus is feeling a bit slow and clunky. Maybe we just kind of leave it until... Oh, wow, gonna go with the K&T. All right. Wow, we don't have to discard. That's incredible. Opponent's gonna let the Teferi's protect themselves. Well, that's fine. Probably still gonna Fumigate. Elsha plus Young Pyromancer plus Frost Titan and Commander. It's all a lot of stuff. Chaotic's going to play a Peer Through the Depths. Look at the top 5 cards of the library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them and put it into your hand. Reveals a Frost Breath. Tap 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's untap step. So, creatures probably not going anywhere. This is like Ice Tribal or something. Looks like Ice Tribal. Chaotic's going to play a Veridity Circle. When a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you may draw a card. Cool. And you can pay 5 to tap a creature without flying. Seems good. Wow. As far as the Enlightened Tutor into Mirari's Wake play, I don't know if he lets that resolve. So, I think we probably have to go for something a little more conservative. And opponent's going to Frost Breath the Elsha and our Kethis. Maybe we wait one turn on the Fumigate. Oh, but we get rid of so many good things. Oh, Chaotix almost tapped out. Oh, then he changed his mind. No. Alright, we're going to have to play it cool. Gonna send Sir Elenora into us and Frost Titan into the Elsha, yeah. Gets to tap down another thing. Gonna tap down the Young Pyromancer. So we go down to 32. 7 Commander. Yeah, Elenora is pretty big. I'm not going to use the Enlightened Tutor on the upkeep here. Thought about it, but with the 2 mana open, it just doesn't feel great. Wouldn't mind drawing a land off the top either. Just gotta keep making those land drops with this deck. It's Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. I'm sure that'll come in handy at some point. Try this Fumigate. We have things with blue. We definitely don't want to use any blue mana. Don't really have anything for black this turn, so... try this Fumigate, see what happens. Ooh, it gets mana drained. Okay, well, then that's why I'm going with this plan, because they counter the Fumigate. That means we still have Kethis, which means we can cast a few other things here. So let's get Joyra. And unfortunately, one short of getting Padim. Chaotix is going to have a lot of mana. Here comes a Ramunap Excavator for opponent. No lands in graveyard currently. K&T End Step Trigger. No lands for us. So we draw a card. It's a Tatiova. Now we just need to find a land to get the Tatiova going. Oh, that's a 1,000-Year Storm. And there's a Jace's Sanctum that'll trigger Elsha the Infinite. Mana Drain for Chaotix. Yup. Oh, that's a Cage Sun. Cage Sun is bad. That is a lot of mana that we probably can't handle. It's gonna Bluster Squall. Tap each creature you don't control. Okay. Veridity Circle. Oh, he's gonna draw a bunch of cards. Oh, God. Folio of Fancies. Players have no maximum hand size. Each player draws X cards. Each opponent puts the number of cards equal to the number of cards in their hand from their library into their graveyard. Ooh, what? Opponent gonna send their commander back at us. Ooh, this is gonna be a lot of commander damage. 16 commander damage, 23 life. Kefnet's Monument. Fogwalker. Ice is a permanent. Ice is Joyra. Glaring Spotlight. Oh, I'm gonna have to think right here. Okay. So, again, if we go Enlightened Tutor, we still have 8 mana if a Mirari's Wake resolved. Which would be Ugin. We'd be able to get Ugin in, but if any of this gets countered, then the whole thing falls apart. We could just go for a Thaumatic Compass, and yeah, that's actually not the worst idea. I think I like that. So if we go that, Thaumatic Compass will cost, what is it, legendaries? 2, 6, 7, and then we'll have exactly enough for Ugin. That works. Play Enlightened Tutor. Get Thaumatic Compass. Play Thaumatic Compass. We get to draw with Joyra. It's a land. Play the land. Try the Ugin. Draw a card with Joyra. It's Bow of Nylea. It resolves. So we need to hit 6. That's 5 mana. That's 2. That's 6. Minus Ugin for X6. Chaotix is going to make each player draw 2 cards. Fun. There's our mana ramp. That's... this gets forests. Okay, yeah, there's still forests in the deck. And that looks like our turn. So a bunch of things getting exiled. Joyra never seems to be able to stay in play for some reason. I know it went down to our own Ugin, but I think it was incredibly necessary right there. So Spires of Oriska flips over. Opponent's going to transmute a Muddle the Mixture. Here's a Sylvan Library. Here's Tristani. They grab the Sylvan Library with the Muddle the Mixture, so opponent's still at 40, and now they've got a Tristani, so they can gain life back. So they can draw pretty freely with the Sylvan Library right there. Cracks a Myriad Landscape. Here comes Saheeli Sublime Artificer. That's a Narset Parter of Veils. Okay, card draw. Oh, we're about to play Tatiova. What's Narset's loyalty? 5? Comes in as 5? Hopefully they use it, because then I'm going to bolt it so that we can draw with Tatiova. Just get rid of Planeswalkers. Creature an opponent controls, or Planeswalker an opponent controls. I guess Chaotix also has incentive to get rid of the... Oh, really? We're doing that? We get a land. So all of our stuff gets discarded. Let's see how many counterspells Chaotix had. Sleep. I think he was actually out of counterspells. Wow, we lost so many things. So many tools just went down for us. Oh, it's going to be tough from here. Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, that was the primary way of getting things back. So now we'd have to go like... Opponent's going to Rage of Winter, tap some creatures. They don't untap. But yeah, we'd have to get Sharoom, get back the bow, put a bunch of things on the bottom. It's going to be not good. I think I cut Muldrotha, thinking that Primeval's Glorious Rebirth would be enough. Opponent then casts the creature. Yep. It's going to bring it back to our turn. Could use something. Doubling Season's a card. Play the Marsh Flats. We don't necessarily need to crack the Marsh Flats. Get Doubling Season. Shoot the Narset. Isn't Ugin supposed to get double loyalty with... Recast our commander. These have flying? No flying. Okay, so... Between the Spires and Sisay, we should be able to keep Ugin alive. There are actually no legendaries that we can tutor with Blackblader Forge in the graveyard. So we need to catch a legendary off the top that's colored and can try to pump up Sisay at least a little bit. Opponent's got a Sylvan Library. That seems massive at this stage of the game. Oh, I guess we have the Misspell Plains. We can find a second white permanent, then we can start getting things back on the bottom also. Chaotix makes Tristani unblockable with the Rogue's Passage. And then opponent does not take the card draw? Dude, you're at 40. What? Oh, right. Narset. Yep, okay. Duh. The reason we got into this mess in the first place. Gonna send that into the Narset. Yep. So Narset down. Opponent's gonna crack their Prismatic Vents. Opponent recast K and T. That is really good news. We need to look at extra cards. Chaotix is gonna cast Chemist's Insight and draw 2 cards. Got Jumpstart. Probably flash it back, I'm guessing, also. At some point. Right now I'm a little bit worried. We've looked at about 13 lands of like 38 or 39, which means there are a lot of lands left in this deck. About 1/3 of the deck is going to be lands. We could crack a fetch, but I'm also nervous that cracking the fetch is going to shuffle us. I do not have the utmost faith in the MTGO shuffler, and there are definitely like weird patterns that you start to notice. So I feel like cracking the fetch, although conceptually is deck thinning, I don't trust the shuffle to not give us a land after we do that. There's a land. There's a Canopy Vista. Yep. Opponent drops a Boilerworks and bounces a land. Opponent's gonna Swords on our Sisay. Really? Super annoying. I wish there was at least a path. Get another land. This one cycle? No, it's not the cycle one. It's gonna put a sword on a Thopter. Servo. It's a Servo, not a Thopter. There's a Felwar Stone for opponent. Makes another Servo. Here comes Elsha back to play. There's a Preordain. It's going to get Prowess. Need opponent to tap out their mana right here so that we can just bolt their Elsha with Ugin. If they leave mana up, then we probably have to go with exiling the Servos. Token into Ugin. Token into K and T, the one with the Feast and Famine. So we're gonna Spires the one with the Feast and Famine. Ugin will go down to Loyalty. So opponent left 1 mana up. Unless they use it before the start of our turn, we're not going to be able to bolt Elsha, unfortunately. Talent of the Telepath. Target opponent reveals the top 7 cards of their library. You cast an instant or sorcery from among them without paying its mana cost. Player puts the rest into the graveyard spell mastery. You may cast 2 revealed. Oh boy. There's some cards. Instants and sorceries, huh? So Divine Reckoning and Supreme Verdict. Could also Dovin's Veto. Where do these cards go? The rest go into the graveyard, so we're getting rid of an Ugin, a Smothering Tithe, a Dovin's Veto, 2 board wipes. This all seems very good. Did he not have Spell Mastery? He had to have Spell Mastery. Unless he's trying to keep his own thing alive? Oh, yeah. Okay. I see. I just would have Supreme Verdict, personally. Opponent's going to keep their Elsha alive. Yep, it's pretty annoying. Nibbleless of Frost. And Kefnet's Monument going to tap down the Elsha. So one thing I'm thinking about now, because the tokens are all gone, we can plus Ugin, shoot the Elsha, and if they have to use a spell, then, like, that's 1 less card that they have access to, which seems fine to me. The other thing we can do, too, I guess we could just shoot... maybe it's just safer to shoot the Saheeli. It's a more measurable result right there. Pacification Array. Tap target artifact or creature. Yeah. Gonna tap the Elsha. It no longer untaps. Chaotix deck. He's got some silliness over there, that's for sure. Chaotix gonna send the Queen of Ice into Ugin. No, we were gonna use that to do stuff. Ugin down. Come on. Legacy weapon off the top. That's the card we need. Sir Elenora back to play. Gonna ice down the Tristani. Draws a card. I have really mixed feelings about this, but I'm gonna crack the fetch on our upkeep. Just, I don't know. Try to pull lands out of the deck. Hope we don't get screwed on the shuffle. Let's get a plateau, I guess. Draw something big. Please don't be a land. It's a Mystic Remora. That's actually a card. Okay. Play the Canopy Vista. Play Sisay. Go with Sisay first, just in case of any counter spells, because we need this Mystic Remora to stick. And Mystic Remora should match up beautifully against the Elsha. We can activate Sisay, but we have nothing to get. Sylvan Library for the K&T opponent. I bet they draw this time. They're at 47. Opponent's going to Wear Tear on the Feast and Famine and Doubling Season. Appreciate that they leave the Remora intact. Doubling Season, although good, and there are a couple Planeswalkers in the deck, is, you know, sort of a decoy. It's not really the main plan. It's just, you know, a good card that can do some crazy things, so... Wow, they're going to pay for it? Rough. I doubt Elsha has enough to pay for it, so... So, Doubling Season down. K&T back to play. Oh, you want what we can do? We can activate Sisay and get a legendary land and start pulling lands out of the deck. I think there's a original Urborg, not this one, in the deck still. That's something. Oh, there's also the green one that pumps Sisay up. Yeah, now we've got a plan. Okay. At least get a little bit of something going. Opponent gains some life. K&T end step trigger. No lands, no cards in hand at all. We draw, of course, a land, Path of Ancestry. And this is very much what I'm worried about. There are a lot of lands in the deck still. Need Mystic Remora to hit big for us. Hopefully Elsha starts doing things. They shouldn't have the mana. They have 5 cards plus Elsha's abilities, so, like, they shouldn't be able to pay for the Mystic Remora super well. It's a Niv Mizzet. That's not good. There's a Talrand, even better. No one apparently wants to cast non-creature spells. Here's a Signet. It's going to trigger Prowess, Mystic Remora, and Saheeli. Come on, big draws. Big draws. Another land, of course. Here comes a Frantic Search. It's going to trigger Elsha, Niv Mizzet, Saheeli, Talrand, and Mystic Remora. There's an Avacyn. That is a good card. That's a white card. That's legendary. And that allows us to use Misfail Planes. Those are all good things. Assuming that Sisay sticks in play, which I don't know if it will. Yep, 1 damage to Sisay. Awesome. Opponent draws more cards, so they're going to get Niv Mizzet triggers, of course. Opponent's going to try to shoot down our Sisay. Yep. Start working on chaotic stuff. He's going to play a Mizium Skeins. That'll trigger the Mystic Remora. Hopefully we can just draw Legacy Weapon naturally, because using Sisay is going to be tough now. Use the Mystic Remora. We draw another land, of course. Activate Sisay. Oh, do we not have... Oh, we don't have the colors. We do not have the colors. That's black, that's white. Crap. Green, black, yeah, we don't have enough blue and red. Actually, let's leave our mana up just because there's not a ton of instants in the deck, but there are some. And we're going to be drawing a lot of cards. Sisay goes down. There's a Kaikar. There's a Brainstorm, Mystic Remora, everything triggers a million times. Draw with Mystic Remora. Feast and Famine, not helpful when we can't stick creatures at all. Looks like 3 board wipes left in the deck. Rout, Blasphemous Act, and Austere Command. You're going to start shooting Champion in the face. Here's Lightning Greaves, Mystic Remora triggers again. Elsha, Saheeli, Kaikar trigger. Kodama's Reach, dead card. Cool. I think there's 1 basic. Yeah, there's a Plains, and I think that's it. Maybe there's a Forest. How many Forests are in the deck? 2 Forests, so there might also be a Forest. Lightning Greaves on the Niv Mizzet. Cool. Gonna make it super hard to deal with. Chaotix gonna play Reach of the Mists. Niv Mizzet and Remora will trigger. Ooh, Chaotix plays a Glaring Spotlight. Uses the Glaring Spotlight. It still has Shroud, though. Does it draw a card? Oh, creatures he controls hexproof until the next turn and can't be blocked. Oh, nice. All right, let's see what's going on. I'm gonna send everything to the face of the Elsha player. They go down to 14. Cumulative upkeep trigger on the Mystic Remora. Definitely going to stick with that. Pay the 1. We're going to use a black since we have Urborg in play. There aren't too many black casting costs in the deck anyway. Another land! Wow, finding all of the lands. This is so frustrating. Play Kodama's Reach. Niv Mizzet draws a card. 1 damage to a target. Shoot Chaotix in the face. Yep, get our last 2 basics. Put the Forest into play tapped, I guess. Play this Windswept Heath. Crack this Windswept Heath. Get Tundra. Play Avacyn. Sylvan Library for the K&T. Need a hope for a board wipe. It's a Mirari's Wake. We draw with a Remora. It's a Shroom. What does Shroom get us? Shroom can get us Blackblade Reforged, which if we put it on Sisay, means that we can actually get our legacy weapon. But we also need to survive, because there's just a ton of tokens in play. It also means we can get the bow, and the bow will put stuff back on the bottom. Mystic Remora triggers. There's a Sphere of Safety. Oh, we need to get that into play so bad. Sun Titan. I don't know, maybe land right here, I'm not sure. Oromancer, possibly. Opponent gains a lot of life. Yeah, just gonna get a Myriad Landscape. Vidalcan Orrery. Triggers a Mystic Remora. There's Captain Sisay. It's gonna be really slow, though. Almost nothing matters unless we find a board wipe. K&T End Step Trigger. I guess, you know, tough choice between we need to draw stuff. I'm gonna go with the draw. There's an Azusa in our deck somewhere, and if we run into that, then all the lands come in, and we still just really need to find a board wipe. Here's a Signet. Niv Mizzet will trigger. Chip tapping out for something big on the end step here. Evacuation! Nice! Oh, that is so good. We get to draw. It's an Eldamri's Call. Wish I left our mana better for that, but unfortunately I did not. It's probably going to be time for that Azusa. Oh, he's got the Orrery in place, so he can just recast all of his stuff right now. Yeah, that works. So K&T and Sun Titan back to play. Niv Mizzet back to play. Yeah, that's the scary one. Kaikar back to play. Also a problem just because it can generate them tons and tons of mana. Chaotix gonna play Chilling Grasp, tap down the Niv Mizzet and the Sun Titan. Mystic Remora will trigger. We draw, ooh, the Cold Bolas, huh? We can shoot creatures with that. Oh, we can put Planeswalkers. This might be a situation to go Bolas, get back Ugin, exile everything. Opponent gonna shoot Champ in the face. Here comes a Ral. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, deals 1 damage to any target opponent or Planeswalker. That'll trigger our Mystic Remora. Chaotix gonna tap the Kaikar. Draw with a Remora. It's an Oracle of Moldiah. That's a good one to have right here. Boots onto the Niv Mizzet. Yep. Gonna use the Ral ability. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell, choose new targets. Ugh. Generous Gift on the Vidalcan Orrery. Triggers all the stuff. We've got to be getting close to our legacy weapon. We draw. Azusa. Okay. Yeah, we got the Azusa Oracle combo. Won't even need to tutor for it. What's that give us? 4 land plays if we play both? Oh, and they copy and go after the Mirari's Wake. That actually solves a lot of problems for us, so now opponent won't have tons and tons of mana. Chaotix gets a turn. Here comes Sir Elenora back to play. Gonna ice the Kaikar. There's a Guardian of Tazim. Gonna get a Kefnet trigger, and it has landfall. Tap a thing, it doesn't untap. Oh, yeah. Tapping down all the tokens. Gonna tap down this token. I'm gonna let the Remora go on our turn because I'm thinking about doing the Nicole Bolas get Ugin back thing. So Remora down. Oh, that's a Smothering Tithe. That's gonna be really helpful. Okay. Cast this Bolas the Ravager. It comes in. Each opponent will discard a card. Flip the Ravager. We need to leave green and white mana up. Oh man, this thing's so expensive. Use the ability. It flips. We're gonna use the -4. Get Ugin. Ugin for 6. Chaotix is going to draw a card. Sure. Get rid of those colored permanents. Let's play a land. We'll cast Azusa. Actually, I'll go Oracle first to see if he counters it. Actually, no, we need to go for Azusa first. Cast Azusa. Get some lands. Gonna have to pay the life on this one, which I don't love. Actually, this turn, I'm going to go for Sisay right now, because then we can get into our legacy weapon next turn. We do need to discard. Arcane Signet's going to be pretty slow. I don't know how many turns are actually left in this game. We need to discard 1 more. I really doubt that Feast and Famine is ever going to successfully hit anything. Mana Crypt flip for our opponent. Opponent's going to get their Mirari's Wake back. Yeah, that seems good. What's funny now is Elsha's at 33 cards in library. We're at 45. People starting to get very low on cards. And with Elsha, like, I think we've hit a lot of their win conditions. I don't know if they have something that reshuffles their graveyard, a Time Twister, or even just, what's the artifact that does it? Elixir of Immortality. Like, those could be a thing and recycle a bunch of stuff. Time Twister wouldn't be terrible for us because we have a lot of things in our graveyard that we want in our deck, but... Morari's Wake for the Kineos, which they got back with the Hall of Helios Generosity. K&T back to play. Yep. Cracks the Myriad Landscape. K&T end step trigger. I think I want the card draw, since we have Azusa in play. We're going to go for the card draw right here. We get a Cultivate, dead card. Awesome. Ooh, opponent played a Coral Atoll. They do need to return an untapped island to their hand. They do have this Hollowed Fountain. They're going to Mystical Tutor. Gets themselves an Austere Command. Well, don't know that Sisay and Azusa are long for this world. Here comes Talrand into play. Okay, so I think opponent just going to hold it as an emergency item. Means we might have to go Avacyn. We really need some mana doubling. A doubler would be fantastic. Here comes Elsha back to play. I'm going to put boots on it. Going to send the two Thopters over to Chaotix. Sure. Elsha into the Ugin. I'll probably just let Ugin go. It draws a lot of attention, and if we let it go, then probably not as scary. Want to keep the Azusa for the land plays. And we need Sisay to get the legacy weapon. So, yeah. By the way, we're around probably about 2 hours and 25 minutes of filming. You guys won't notice it with the editing. It'll still probably be a longer video. But, yeah, this game has been going on for a while. No blocks. Opponent's going to play a Serum Visions, pump the Elsha, create a Talrand token. So we've looked at about 21 lands in our deck, which means there's still like, what, 17 to go? 18 to go? Which is like almost half the deck still. Oof, a lot of lands. So yeah, keeping Oracle and Azusa in play will be a good idea. Ooh, opponent's gonna play the Austere Command in the second main, so they're just trying to get rid of the our stuff, and they just wanted to get rid of the Ugin. That seems like a costly way to do it. They're gonna go artifacts and enchantments. That actually hits nothing of ours. That's cool. So they're worried about the mana doubling from both opponents. Artifacts and enchantments down. That means we probably don't have to go for Avacyn now, which makes me happy. So that trims back our opponent's resources nicely. You know, our deck is really just about trying to get all the lands possible into play. I mean, I probably could tweak the early part of the deck just to make sure that we're really hitting those lands, because we didn't hit that stuff super early the way we needed to, and now we're kind of hitting all the lands. We hit all the lands, like, in the later part of the game, which we did not want to do. That Mystic Remora was lucky that it got us past a big pocket of lands. Rage of Winter coming back. Tap target creature, does not untap. And then recast the creature itself after using the adventure. Ah, Icy Manipulator, nice. Sweet card. Gonna tap a Drake. Oh, Chaotix deck. Makes me so happy. Alright, here comes our big turn. We get to untap. Opponents don't have too much mana open. Not a lot of cards in hand. We do have the Sharoom back up. Although, I guess the Legacy weapon reshuffles itself. Oh, that's a Wrath Capuchin. Oh, that's good. That is good. That means we don't have to, like, do everything right now. Ooh. Let's play the Path of Ancestry. Now's a good time, though. Chaotix is tapped out. There's not a lot of mana floating around. Activate, Sisay. It is time. Get the Legacy weapon. We do need Wooburg, so we got to be careful about how we use our mana. Get the Legacy weapon. How many activations do we have? There's one, two, three, four, five. We've got two if we can't get the Oracle right here. We'd have to hit two lands off the top, which I'm not super confident is going to happen. Although, we've got a fetch land. Do we have two fetch lands? There's also K&T in play. Yeah, let's try the Oracle. Chromatic Lantern on top. Crack the fetch land. Get Taiga. There's a land. There's a land. And there's a mana doubler. Oh, there it is. So those here comes Sisay for opponent. So for those that aren't familiar with Legacy Weapon, it says pay Wooburg, exile a permanent. If it will be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal it and shuffle it into its owner's library. And I went with the old art here because it looks more like the Death Star than the new one, even though I happen to like the newer art a little bit better personally. But opponents are about to witness the might of this fully armed and operational battle station. Opponent gonna swing into the Elsha opponent with the K and T. There's a Ghostly Prison. Well, a little late for that. Opponent will get Prowess. We're still in combat. Okay. So at the end step, we're going to start using the Legacy Weapon. Oh, we get a K and T trigger. Looks like we're going for the card draw. Going to draw the Mana Reflection. Got a land on top. Mystic Sanctuary. Enters the battlefield. Put target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. Ooh. Austere command. Goes for a Windfall. How do I feel about losing more stuff? Not great. Shroom is like... we still have the Mistveil Plains. Okay. Tell you what, though. We have 8 cards in hand. Opponents got 29 cards in their library. If they windfall, they're gonna be low. Very low. Oh, I wish we got the Smothering Tithe in. We should have did that. Whoops. Any way that we can, like, finagle that somehow? What does Eldamri's Call get us? Something that drops an enchantment in. Oh, gets us a Glenalendra is what it can get us. I did mean to shoot the Elsha first, though, but I don't think we have enough mana for all that. Here comes the Windfall. Yeah, we do not have enough to go Eldamri's into Glenalendra, then counter the thing. So we have 9 mana. I think that's enough to activate Legacy Weapon 1 time, which we're going to go ahead and do. So Elsha gets exiled. We're going to flash in the Wrath. This is going to be another pocket of lands. I can feel it. Actually, not that bad. Not that bad. Atraxa, Kiora, Bolas, Prismatic Lace, and Hammer of Nazan. That's an Hour of Evolution. Opponent's going to time out. So, like, at some point, we can just stop dealing with them. And being that I'm still salty about the Narset Windfall play, I'm fine with it. Not even that worried. So, board gets wiped again. And given how late it is in the game, MTGO will slow down when you get this late in a game, so it's just hard to do things. Also, there's an Urborg in play, which makes tapping lands take even longer, so, like, they might be able to finish out this turn, and I would guess they probably time out on their next turn. Opponent's going to recast Elsha. Yep. Going to play a Sword of the Animist. Trigger Prowess. Here comes Sift Through the Sands. Yep. Does he have the Unspeakable in his deck? He's played all of these cards. Gonna opt. What's the ultimate on this thing do? 7 damage, target player or planeswalker. That player or planeswalker controls discard 7 cards and sacrifices 7 permanents. Cool. I think that's gonna be the plan. Nibelus of Frost. Brings it back to our turn. That's the Zendikar Resurgent. Oh, that's huge. Play a Savannah. Play a Zendikar Resurgent. Cast this Bolas. Need some red mana. Plus Bolas on the Sword of the Animist. Play Atraxa. Draw a card with the Zendikar Resurgent. Atraxa in. I guess we go for the Hammer of Nazan. Free equip onto the Atraxa. Let's get Kiora. Maybe we go back for Sisay right here. Ooh, Sisay is gonna be a lot. Sisay into play. We get a Zendikar Resurgent trigger and a Scry trigger. That's a Mirari's Wake. We're gonna keep that on top. We now have 2 white permanents, so put Bow of Nylea back to the bottom so we can get back our key pieces. There's the bow. Use Prismatic Lace on our... We use it on the OG Urborg because no one's going to be incentivized to kill that. So we get to choose colors. We'll choose all 5 colors. Got 1 blue floating. Doesn't look like there's anything we can do with it, so we'll go ahead and pass the turn like that. Champ says, his secret tech. Prismatic Lace was a card I learned from him. He's been playing a little bit of Sisay lately, so yeah, if you put this on a legendary permanent, you can make it all 5 colors, the most ideal of which are legendary lands, just because they're hard to get rid of. So I did add a couple legendary lands to this deck for that reason. We get to proliferate at the end step. We'll proliferate on the Atraxa. Anything else? Doesn't look like it. Or, excuse me, the Nicole Bolas. It's up to 9. It's on Ultimate Loyalty. Here comes Teamer Ascendancy for the K and T. That's actually pretty scary because if they just play a bunch of big creatures with haste, we're in trouble. So Teamer Ascendancy in. Boreal Druid. Yep. Fabro Elder into play. Yep, that's also going to make some mana. Sterling Grove into play. Elsha has timed out. Sorry, not sorry. Still salty about the Narset play. So down they go. Kodama's reach for opponent. Wonder if they have any basics left. Glacial crevices, no. Crevasses. Well, I guess we play Legacy Weapon, so we'll probably just have to shoot it. Opponent's going to crack their Sterling Grove. So some sort of enchantment sub-theme I've noticed going on. Hall of Heliod's Generosity, Sterling Grove with their deck. Teamer Ascendancy, we see the Mirari's Wake. So kind of looks like a pillow 40 value kind of thing. With lots of enchantments. Gain some life. Gonna get the Mirari's Wake back on top. Yep. Taps up for a bunch of mana. Let's see what he's got. Oh, just recasting Commander? Doesn't have enough, so taps out and passes. Yeah, I've had to lay waste to everything with Ugin a number of times in this game, so Commander's getting pretty expensive. Here comes a face-down creature for Chaotix. If I had to guess, when it flips up, it probably taps something. It's going to play an Artful Dodge. Creature can't be blocked this turn. Yep. It's going to get Prowess. And can tap stuff down. Yep. Taps the Atraxa. It's going to play a Ghost Form. Give it Prowess again. Tap down something else. Yeah. Going to tap down our Sisay. It won't untap. We got more? We got more? Draw a card for each tap creature opponent controls. Nice. Opponent's gonna use the prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn. Okay. Champ does it out of spite. Opponent's gonna cycle a land. Yep. Chaotix has something. I said, mind if I ult you then? He said, you can try. Well, guess we're gonna have to find out. Play the Mana Confluence. Get... Oh, we just wait. Oh, nope, that's plenty. Get Mirari's Wake. Sisay now has 8 power, so activate Sisay. Get Legacy Weapon. Start using the Legacy Weapon. Exile this Nibelus of Frost. Chaotix has a Lazotep Plating. We should probably find out what the morph creature is. Could be dangerous. Exile that. Let's find out what it is. It was Thousand Winds. Turned up, return all other tap creatures to their owner's hand. Continue to activate the Legacy Weapon. Did we just exile? We exiled our own mountain. Well, that's unfortunate. Whoops. The game is getting very laggy at this moment. Opponent's going to prevent all combat damage. Yep. Lazotep Plating will resolve, but it is too late. Opponent does get a 1/1. We'll use the ultimate on... Champ said he's like ready to get out of this game, which I totally don't blame him. We're probably knocking on like 3 hours at this point, so... I'm going to ultimate the bolus at him, discard, make him discard, hit him a bunch of damage, and make him sack a bunch of stuff. And he's going to scoop. Yep. We'll continue to activate the Legacy Weapon. Oh, Chaotic stuff is all hexproofy. Okay. I guess we'll activate Sisay one time. Let's get this Nicole Bolas, why not? Let's see what this one does. Draw a card. Each opponent exiles a card. We've got a little bit of mana to spend. Colors are tapped in a weird way. It's not ideal. Guess we'll tap up some red, get this Lord Windgrace. Let's get some lands back from our graveyard. And that seems good enough. We'll pass like that. Trying not to overdo it. It's already been a really long game. Champ says, isn't it great when every opponent ruins your plan each turn, just like real Magic? Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a thing happened. I mean, I got pretty frustrated in the middle of this game, too, so I don't blame him. Opponent's gonna grip a Phyresis on our Hammer of Nazan. Yep, it goes down. Or they gain control of it, and they get a Germ. Equip the Hammer onto the zombie army. Yep. Here comes an Icefall Regent. Yep. So Sisay isn't gonna untap. Oh, my. Send the zombie into Lord Windgrace. Fog that damage with the Spires. Go to the end step, start tapping up mana. Here's green, black, red, blue, white. Start Legacy Weaponing the lands. Play a land. Oh, it's getting really laggy now. Alright, we've got 6 of each color. Exile land. Exile. And he's going to scoop right there. Okay, he sees what's coming. 5-color Legacy Weapon! Oh my god, that was such a long game. Yeah, this game was somewhere around 3 hours. I told opponents before the game, they're like, what power level? I'm like, slow. The slow power level. The Elsha deck didn't actually feel all that slow. If we didn't Ugin like 3 times that game, then Elsha would have been a real problem, and I was pretty nervous on a number of occasions. I was super salty after the Narset Windfall play, because, you know, we kind of agreed on like more chill, slow-ish decks, and I get that our deck is like super annoying in the late game and just, you know, horrendous at that point. I mean, it has similarities to an Atraxa deck. This has more Planeswalkers than you'll generally see me with in a deck. I don't usually run a lot of Super Friends. They do tend to be very slow and grindy and just awful for opponents to sit through. But I decided for the Legacy weapon, I wanted something other than my usual just like play creatures, equip them, attack with them. I felt like the Planeswalkers were a fitting theme to surround the Legacy weapon theme, so that's what we're doing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this deck. Hope you get a chance to see the new Star Wars movie. And that's kind of what inspired me to build this Legacy weapon deck. So yeah, as always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe, and thank you for watching.